so I learned how to produce about 7 years ago when I moved to LA, and I was producing because I didn't want to necessarily work with anybody else. I just wanted to be able to do everything by myself, because at that time my communication skills weren't really that great, and I felt kind of sheepish in a way of actually asking for what I want, which I've certainly gotten better at.
Right.
And
would you say that stripping helped you get better at
1
that?
bajillion%.
Okay, just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, keep going.
Yeah, on that subject.
Okay.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that kind of play this like, how dare you say this to me, or how dare you ask me this, or assume this, or whatever. And it's like, if women just learned how to say no better, or learned how to stand up for themselves in a way that's not offended, but necessarily like just educating.
Sure.
You know, and I think that's what I learned through being at the clubs, is that like, you know, you can get all pissy at people, but really, in the same way that when I was 19 going in the club, giving my friend a lap dance as a customer, which is dumb, that was me, uneducated.
Right.
You know, and I didn't figure that out until someone educated me, which happened when I started working at the clubs.
Right.
But I kind of find that now, a lot of the people that come in, you know, yeah, they do a bunch of dumb shit, but they just don't know.
Right.
And so it's our job to tell them straight, in a straightforward manner. And, you know, having kind of learned that skill definitely trickles out to the rest of my life, where I can just say, hey, these are my boundaries. This is what I want. These are my goals. Can we somehow figure out how to make this work?
And everyone's boundary is different, and everyone's ideals are different. And so you may be educated by one person, and then you might meet another person.
That's true.
And it might be a different story or a different scenario with them. And so... yeah, I feel you on that. Education is a big one for men and for women and for all the genders in between. Like, we all are just learning on a constant basis. And I've definitely, in the last year, I just don't get mad at people anymore. Even when they're rolling their eyes at me and raising their voice at me, I'm still not getting mad, because I can see, okay, that's something going on in their own head. And so I wish that I had these skills when I was still in the strip club, and I was like, random fucked up shit was happening, and I could have just been a little softer and more kind and educated more. Yeah. You know, which I think I did in my last couple of years, but there were triggers. There were things where I would just lose my shit. Yeah. Like when I turned into a tornado in the dressing room. Were you there for that?
I don't think so.
Girl, literally I turned into a tornado.
What, like you were spinning around really fast?
It looked like... yeah, it looked like I was. Yeah, I was like ripping things.
Because of customer?
No, because of
because of an altercation with another dancer?
No, it was when they're like yelling at us for once, and he was Herman was in my space, and there was other factors happening, and I just needed a minute, and he wouldn't shut the door, and his fat fingers were in the door of the crack, and I was like, shut the fucking door, door, and he wouldn't shut the door, and so I literally started ripping all the stuff off of the clothesline. Okay. Like where all the jackets are hanging, I just started ripping them, and so all the clothes just started swirling and twirling around the room. That's so fun. And Delilah was like, "You look like you turned into a tornado." Oh. Yeah.
Did it help the situation?
No, of course not. I was a total wreck. Okay. But if I had been coming from this place like you were talking about, just like cool your jets, come to a softer place, I wouldn't have had to turn into a tornado.
But I will say that was kind of like the fun part for me, is like becoming like this sassy, like, excuse me, kind of person. I mean, now I've been there, I've been there for 7, maybe 8 years. Yeah. And now I kind of like being the security guard, where if I see someone at the rail with their phone, I'm like, excuse me, honey, I know that you probably have some really important business matters to handle, but you just can't have your phone at the stage. Right. They're like, and they're usually like, oh, I'm so sorry, or something. I enjoy being this like kind of direct, like straight
authoritative.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just like, hey babe, you actually can't have your phone here. And if she's like, oh, I'm just texting my mom, I'm like, that's great, but you can text your mom outside. Yeah. Or, away from the stage. But there's a beautiful, delicious, fine piece of ace on stage right now, and you need to pay attention, you little gal. Yeah. And like, can be more fun about it. Whereas it used to be fun to be like, like play into the culture of being a bitch.
Yeah.
Because I never got to do that because, you know, sweet little baby Christian girl never got to really like have a voice.
Interesting. That's really interesting that you never got to flex that muscle and really stick up for yourself, because that's not what good Christian girls do, to the point where you're so hungry for it that you like start to become almost addicted to that type of behavior.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I didn't grow up in a religious household. I had a lot of freedom, so I didn't feel a lot of hunger to do much of anything.
Right.
All my partying and sex was like moderate levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not even, you know, I flexed that party sex muscle a little bit earlier than my stripper muscle of yelling at people.
Okay.
But I guess just, you know, being a Southern belle has that kind of just like, let's not offend anybody. You know, if someone says something that you don't like, you just kind of stay quiet about it. And like, that's fine. Whereas, you know, now even the other day I was looking at, you know, we're shopping for a house.
Yeah.
And the landlord goes, so, you know, there's like 7 people who'd be moving in. He's like, so, you know, men, women, or girls, boys. And I'm like, it's a house full of women. He goes, oh, good luck. And I got I had that same face. And my sister was there, and she was kind of laughing about how like annoyed I was at that. I was just like, good luck. I was like, wow, you want me to like live with some stinky, smelly boy that doesn't know how to put a freaking roll of toilet paper on the little hook and puts a wet towel on the bed and freaking farts in the goddamn living room
and leaves their hairs and pubes all over the bathroom.
Sick. Gross. Anyways, but I was just like, excuse me, actually, we're all very wonderful women and we love each other and we're great communicators and we're hot and you're fucking assholes. Yeah, I hate you! But not really. I love him. We got the house. It's great. So, but the point of that is that even now outside of the clubs, I'm a lot more quick to be like, oh, what did you mean by that? Because I'm on this like educating kick.
Yes.
I'm on this deal of like, you know, it doesn't serve anybody for me to just be like, okay, you're an idiot, bye, done with you.
Right.
Like, I'm so confident and stable enough now in myself as a grown-ass woman to be like, hey, man, like, you know, that's to actually get into a conversation as opposed to being like, oh, you say something and I'm going to look bad. This is that Southern Belle thing. I'm going to look bad by like confronting that thought of yours. Yeah. There's just no confrontation. And I learned how to have confrontation and that it's not a terrible thing.
It's not terrible.
It's great.
Yeah. My stepmom, I was talking to this neighbor friend with my stepmom one day, and you know, she introduced me, and my stepmom doesn't discriminate. It's like we are all her children, and that's how she addresses us. And so she's talking about me and my brother and sister and her born daughter, and so she says to the guy, this is one of my 4 kids, like da-da-da, and he's like, wow, really fertile family. And I go, I know, and I go, that's an odd thing to say. I said that out loud, and then I just kind of brushed it off, you know, and he was kind of like shuffled his feet a little bit, you know, because I think he realized, like, what the fuck are you doing calling her fertile?
Right.
Like, that's just so creepy and gross.
Yeah.
Like, it's just 4 kids.
Right.
It's not that much.
Fertile.
Fertile family. What? Like, don't talk about my mom's reproductive system.
Yeah, I know.
It's gross.
But it's good that you say something because then it
wasn't snarky. It was just like, that's an odd thing to say.
Right.
It's like,
but I think a lot of those things are like, too, like we, you know, as dancers, we're in social situations a lot. Like we have a lot of practice talking to a lot of different kinds of people.
Yes.
And most people don't have that.
Right.
So you have to kind of give them a little bit of space for like, they probably work in an office, go out once a week.
Yeah.
And like are talking to the same type of person all the time.
Right.
We talk to so many types of people that we can kind of gauge the version of conversation, the style of humor, you know, like that's a skill that we have that not a lot of other people have. So I think even just being open-minded to that,
right.
you know, you can help someone out and go easy on them.
Yeah, definitely go easy. God, so you're triggering
sure they're
all
smart
these
in
stories.
other areas.
Yeah.
I know we could just gab our little faces off. Can we extend this podcast? How long is it? An hour?
We can do pretty
Can we
much
do a
whatever
3 hour?
we want.
Oh shit. Okay, I love that.
But yeah, I was actually talking to someone the other day about how it's really hard to win a word battle with a stripper. Like, it's really hard to outwit us because we spend so much time talking to people and, like you said, so many different people. And I think that's a skill set that flies under the radar with like a civilian when it comes to strippers, not realizing like that we're going to be quicker than you,
right?
Quicker on the draw. And it also plays into the misconception that strippers are dumb. Yeah. I swear there's some of the most intelligent people I've ever known in my life.
Every woman I work with is so on it.
Yeah.
It's just so on it.
Yeah.
Strippers are the best.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Love strippers.
Me too. So one of the things so when I first came to Jumbo's Clown Room, because I came from the nude strip clubs, right? And I first came to Jumbo's Clown Room, and the dancers there would call themselves strippers, and I would scoff at them.
At Jumbo's?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like 11 and a half, 12 years ago, and I would scoff because I was immature and working on some things. And I would be like, you're not real strippers. You have no idea what being a real stripper is like. Like, wait until you're grinding on a hard dick with your vag out and, like, getting your fucking tits grabbed without you wanting. Like, that's, like, you know what I mean? That's real stripper. Like, having to educate men on how and where and when they can touch you and, like, hustling some real money. Like, that's real stripper work. You girls here aren't strippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm like, yeah, it's just on the spectrum of stripping.
Right.
It took me a few years to get there.
I think about this a lot, actually, because, you know, the term stripper, even just the word itself is like a very strong word.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of the times when it's just, some people love to be like, oh, you're not a stripper, like in a way that it seems like they're doing that so that I won't feel like dirty.
Right.
You know,
to,
so
like,
that
spare you.
to spare me from being a stripper. But then there's the other side, like you said, that like I don't feel worthy of even calling myself a stripper because like I said, I've only been at Jumbo's. I've never danced nude other than this one little TV show I did where I got my titties all out. I mean, I would love to dance with my titties out because I have great tots. But anyways, I diverse. I didn't like feel like I was worthy of that term, but then other people are kind of like, oh, like you don't want to have that term. I just feel like it's all semantics, but that says something about, you know, stripping in general, and that it's just like, here, we're all just going to throw you in this basket that we don't want to talk about.
Right.
You know, like you dance on a pole.
You dance on a pole in heels in front of people.
Yeah.
Stripper. Dirty. Yeah.
Just like the image of that in people's minds without even thinking about is it's so subconsciously ingrained in so many people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a musician, and so there's a lot of these things where I'm like, I want to pole dance to this thing, and, you know, love pole dancing, great at it. It's fun. It's not the center of myself as an artist in general, but it is something I spend a lot of time doing and helps me afford creating the art that I want to for my music and other like art projects that I have. And, you know, the moment that a pole, like you see a pole, it sometimes just like overtakes whatever else you're trying to talk about or whatever the rest of the project is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that one out for years. Like, why are people so stuck on what a pole means? It's just an apparatus and is used so differently by so many people. But at the same time, strippers are the ones that majoritively have been on the pole. And so maybe it's just because of years and years of conditioning of seeing really only strippers on the pole, and then years and years of conditioning that strippers and sex workers are bad and have no moral compass and are dirty and are drug addicts. Yeah. And then they're getting that message from the media, from magazines, newspaper, news, movies, music videos, anything that depicts the story of strippers is like has all these negative connotations in it. And meanwhile, the majority of strippers that I spend with are like enlightening and uplifting and powerful and beautiful and intelligent and yeah, we also like to party.